Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. I've had a leave of absence. Obviously we lost Archie, our pup, a couple of weeks ago now, I think. But then my wife went down with a lurgy and I thought I'd dodged the bullet, but unfortunately it caught hold of me a few days back, and it's one of those that gives you a right kicking. So I'm literally first proper day I'm up and I still feel a bit groggy. Anyway, enough whinging. This is the commission I've been working on, or was working on, before I had to down tools. It's Westphalian Garde du Corps. Thank you, Gav. Remember, I've had to do a fair bit of, and this is just one bag that I've converted and ready for primer and then paint. I've got the same bag to do again, and then I've got a smaller bag, which is like musicians, trumpeters and officers. But these were French carabiniers, and they've obviously been changed around a bit. So sorry, well, pick up a couple, and we'll have a see what we've got. Oh, if the camera doesn't fall down, I thought I'd got a decent deal on a tripod, and it's absolutely blooming waste of time. Anyway, stop whinging, Gav. Right, so 18mm, as you probably knew by the last update when I first introduced them. Metal, obviously, as you can see. These are AB, from the AB range from Eureka. So I get often asked what AB Napoleonics. They used to be the main sculptor the sculptor Anthony Barton, that were his range. He sold them on to Eureka. But they are known as, all of us that do a lot of this type of work, it's AB, so that's why you see it in the title. Right, so we'll work from the hooves up. Drilled out, there's about one pose, I don't know if it was in this lot, but there's one pose where the neck, or two poses where the neck and the reins come really close in, and you can't do anything with the drilling, you don't need to. But most of these, I've drilled them out from the bottom, so I usually chain drill them, 3 or 4 drill holes, and carve the remainder out with sharp scalpel. I drill, if I can, in between the bits there. You'll notice green stuff because, unfortunately, obviously I would imagine the mould is deteriorating, and a lot of the ears on these poses are missing, so I've had to recreate them in as best I can in a bit of green stuff. I also had one tail that was off, and I had to put a drill and pin that one back in. That might actually, here it is, it's this one, I believe. So yeah, that's it with there is some drilling as usual with these horses as well. Not always, but between the hind legs there's usually a chunk of clag you could do with chain drilling that out. I usually have to do a bit of drilling just between the boot and the sabre scabbard, just so you haven't got a chunk of metal there. Sometimes it's actually quite close to the boot, and it doesn't make much difference, but on some poses you do really have to remove a bit. I usually put one drill hole in and then again carve with a scalpel and finish off with the files. Now we get into a bit more of what I've got to do with these. Take the front first of all. So this unit, when it's French, has got a cuirass, so the steel breastplate that's on the front and back. However, in the Napoleonic Wars, a lot of countries would only wear the front plate, not the back, usually down to expense. Westphalians under Napoleon's brother Jerome, they have this like a big metal embossed sunburst on their cuirass. However, they don't wear the back, so of course you've got to take your files and start mutilating the back of you can't really see until I get some primer on, but I've had to take a rat tail file and really get in there and get rid of the nicely moulded on rivets and stuff. Also the straps that go over the top that always look nice on these cuirasses, you have to remove those because they wouldn't have been there. There will be some leather straps on the back, I've not put those down. I'm undecided. I'm probably going to paint them on rather than try and mould them on, because I think they're going to be just too big in the scheme of things. So I'm going to leave those off. If they look too rough, then I'll have to go back and mould them on, but I'm hoping not to, because I think I'll just make a pig's ear of it. So yeah, this would be steel at the back, steel cuirass with straps going over the shoulder to hold the front in. So you have to, if you're doing the garde du corps, have to file that away so it just looks like near the neck area there where the cuirass would come around. You have to put that away so it'll all be painted the blue of the jacket. Also, they don't have the normal epaulets. They have the, my memory problems, and I'm not completely all there at the moment. No, I can't remember, but there's I call them the flat board epaulets. They're concave slightly. So I had to file away all the fringes of those and just leave the boards at the top. Yes, we've got to make a plume, so that was a gentle drilling into the helmet, not too deep, but just enough to give a piece of wire. Once it's been put in glue, I get some Floris wire, which I haven't got any with me to show you, but obviously it's not much. A small piece of that, make me green stuff plume, leave a bit off, put it resting into the helmet, which I've already put a dab of glue on. Put a dab of glue onto the roach at the top here, so that when you push the plume on, it's got something to also glue onto. Then when it's all dry the next day, I've got green stuff holding these in at the moment. That was stupid, Gav. So when the plume's dry, and the glue's dry the next day, I add a bit more green stuff just to lengthen the plume. Made the swords myself, clipped the swords off. They're not brilliant, but best as I can do, really. And that's just a large scale paper clip that's been hand filed down. I used to put my milling tool from the Dremel over the top of it, and although it would make quick work of it, they'd often go too thin and bend them. These are probably slightly too thick, but at the same time, the whole idea is you don't want bendy swords, which is why we get rid of them. So I'm happy with that. Tried to replicate a piece of the sunburst, because obviously it's all under all the straps of the carabiniers. No, cartridge box. I've glued these down. I hollow out underneath the rider with the grouting tool on the Dremel, just to thin out, and I thin out the saddle blankets as well with it. Chabriquet. Some of these will be pushed in slightly later, because they've all got to have a bit of a fill round just in places. And I think that, as part of conversion work, is more or less done. Oh, the other thing I haven't done, which I may do again once I've done the filling in, because they were escort soldiers for Jerome. They never saw action. The client tells me his will be, but in the real world, they didn't see action. They were only at a large company strength, but they were showered with lots of expensive uniforms, and they actually, although these are all privates, they tended to come from the middle classes, and would often become officers in other units later on, I believe. So I'm reading in Rawkins. They'd have like a nice rosette almost on one side. I can't work out if it's on one side of the mane just only, or through both sides of the mane. I've got to keep looking at the very sparse uniform plates that are out there to make my mind up. And they have a nice little rosette down there, which I will replicate I forgot in my fevered state to blooming put on, but I've got to fill this all up anyway. So that'll just be something. So there's a lot of work gone into this for the time I'm putting in. It's if you want to do this and do this type of conversion, as I say, the client sent me the figures, and I've just gone with what he said. He said that was the closest unit he could come up with, and that's what we've gone for. So there's a lot of file work. It's nothing ultra scary or anything. You know, if anybody wants to do this unit, it's just a fact of you know, it's just time consuming. So that's one. I haven't even got to the painting stage yet. That's just one bag. I've got to say replicate another bag of the same figures, same amount, and then a smaller bag of officers and trumpeters. But what I think I'm going to do is I will, once I've done the last bits, as I say, put them little rosettes on, if I can make that work, and do a bit of filling around, I will then add, I'll then primer them, sorry, and I'll probably paint these up. If I can get to doing the next lot, I don't know how that's going to work, but I would like to see these painted first, so that I don't do a load of work on the others, and if they don't look right, especially removing the cuirass at the back. Oh, well done. We've got Mr. Motorbike Head going off for his Sunday afternoon ride. But the ice cream man hasn't turned up yet. He seems to be video bombing me every time I put a video up. Right, I'm rambling. Thanks for stopping by and taking a look. This is a commission so far. When I've filled and put the little, if I do those little rosettes, I'll then give them a primer, and I might show them again, I might not, you know, just to show them without the glare of the white metal, that you can actually see something. And then we'll crack on and paint them. They're imperial dark blue jackets, off-white trousers when they're in the riding phase. When they're mounting guard, they actually wore white jackets. I believe they got about 4 uniforms. They really threw the money at them. So yeah, that'll be the first bit of that start. At least get the ball rolling. It'd be nice just to see some paint on them. So thanks a lot for stopping by and taking a look. I've got an unboxing of sorts to show you. Another model ship, but slightly different than what you're used to seeing from me. The war elephants, they ground to a screeching halt, but I will be back on them. I want to paint that the last one tomorrow. It's almost done. I just obviously got ill, and I've been working on these. But I need to get that elephant finished off that I'm looking at. It's just the howdah itself and the mahout, and then I've just got to finish the crew off. I've got halfway through those, so they're not far away from a show and tell. Now I don't have to work on these realistically, because I don't have, because what I'm doing with these swords, I've put a tiny bit of green stuff in to hold them in, which will hopefully go off and hold them decent. But then I want to put a bit of super glue over the top as well, some thin super glue, just like belt and braces. So I can't really touch these until that green stuff goes off. As you see, one's just moved now. So I want to get that out of the way. So I may be working on one of my ships tonight, if I can keep the concentration levels up. Right, look after yourselves. I'm sorry if I've missed any videos. I have tried to catch up, or am catching up. As I say, I've just been out of, been knocked out of the park for about 3 days. So look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other soon on another video.